Hi and welcome to the National Home Builders Registration Council's Simplified Home Building video series. I'm Simpiwe Petros. This video series is based on the NHBRC Simplified Home Building Manual, which has been produced to help you understand what you need to do to comply as a registered home builder. This is episode 2 of the Simplified Home Building video series. In this episode, we'll learn more about soil conditions as well as building types and understanding building plans. The foundation of any building is very important because it spreads the load of the building on top of it into the ground. The type of soil you are building on is also therefore very important because it will tell you the type of foundation that is needed for the building you are going to construct. There are different foundation designs for different soil types, such as conventional concrete strip or raft foundations. We'll go into this in more detail later in the video series. Soils have different strengths. Some can support a skyscraper, while others can't even support the weight of a person. If the soil under a building is unstable, then the foundation can crack or sink and the building could even fall down. Normal development conditions means that you can use a concrete strip foundation in the soil you are building on. This can also relate to certain types of rock as long as it is completely level. Rocks like limestone, shale, sandstone, and hard chalk are all strong enough for a conventional foundation. But it's not something you can just check by looking. You need to ensure that a geotechnical investigation is done. The geotechnical practitioner or specialist will be able to identify the class of the soil on your site according to this table. They will assess the soil not just based on the type of soil, but also regarding seepage or groundwater, erodibility of the soil, hard excavation. If it's a dolomite area where there can be a danger of sinkholes, we'll discuss dolomite in more detail later on. And the site class designation. When assessing the type of soil, there are 5 classes, which are stable, expansive, compressible, and potentially collapsible, compressible, and variable. All soils expand and contract, and the type of soil determines how much it will move. This is very important to understand so that the foundation can be designed to address the movement. Movement is measured in millimeters. So for example, expansive soils like clay, salty clays, clayey silts, and sandy clays will move between 7.5 millimeters and 30 millimeters. That's quite a big difference. So you can see why it's important to understand exactly what type of soil you are dealing with. If you are building on a site with potentially collapsible soil, which is usually sandy, you may need to remove the soil and replace it with more suitable soil. Expansive soils usually need a different foundation to the conventional concrete strip foundation. If the soil is highly expansive, then you'll have to build a raft foundation. This map is a rough guide to where expansive and collapsible soils can be found in South Africa. But note, it's only a rough guide and a geotechnical investigation is required for every site. Dolomite is a serious issue in South Africa. It's made up of calcium and magnesium carbonate rock, and these rocks can dissolve if exposed to water and carbon dioxide. When they dissolve, sinkholes can form. There are different designations given to dolomite areas around South Africa, which are classified D1 to 4 as can be seen in this table. The designation of dolomite land you are building on will dictate what can be built on it. It is important to understand the different housing types because all residential homes are regulated by the NHBRC and the Housing Consumer Protection Measures Act. The different housing types are defined as freestanding, which is a house that stands on its own piece of land. A semi-detached house, which shares a wall with the one next door. A duplex, which is divided into multiple units. A flat or apartment is a building that is split into many different residential spaces. Townhouses are medium to high density buildings that range from 2 to 5 stories. And cluster houses are freestanding homes that are part of a complex with shared common areas. It's also important to know the difference between freehold and sectional title ownership. Freehold is registered in your name and you are responsible for all bills related to the property. Sectional title means you buy your home as well as some of the shared areas. You're responsible for your own bills, but the administration and maintenance of the common property are the responsibility of the body corporate, which is paid for through a levy charged to the homeowners. Building plans are a vital part in a building project. Both the municipality and the NHBRC require plans to be approved before building can begin. Plans are prepared by an architectural professional and are the beginning of every building project. They are submitted to the local authority for approval, used by other professionals like the engineer for additional specifications, and used by the home builder to understand what must be built. In the case of rational designs, additional drawings must be submitted by other competent persons, such as an engineer. Plans relate to the structure of the home as well as the plumbing, electrical, and finishes, such as the type of flooring or roof tiles. Home plans are usually drawn to a scale of 1 to 100, meaning that 1 centimeter on the plan equals 1 meter on site. The South African National Standard 10400 deals with regulations and approval procedures for buildings. Parts A1 to A22 cover what needs to be on the plans and what the local authority needs for plan approval. In Annexure D of the SANS 10400, there are forms that need to be completed by a competent person for compliance to regulations, such as an architect or engineer for plan approval and completion. Here are some examples of plans. The site plan shows where the house is positioned on the site, as well as the entrance and the building lines. These are 2 examples of engineer's details showing a strip foundation and a raft foundation. This is a floor plan showing the layout and sizes of all the rooms. Note that there are windows and sanitary ware labeled, but these will be detailed in the window and door schedule and the plumbing plan. These are elevations showing what the home will look like from 4 different sides. This will give you a picture of what the home will look like once it's complete. Sections are important so you can see the height of certain things like countertops, as well as some details that might not be clear on the floor plans. For example, the concrete aprons around external walls. The roof plan will show you where there are hips and valleys, as well as the roof overhangs, gutters, and apron, which assist with storm water management. The plumbing plan shows sanitary ware and plumbing points. The electrical plan highlights where switches and plugs are needed. The window and door schedule shows you details of which windows and doors are required, as well as the fenestration calculations to show that energy requirements comply with SANS 204. That concludes this episode. Thank you for watching. Remember, the NHBRC has published 3 different books to assist you in complying. The Home Building Manual, which has 2 sections, the manual and the guide. The SANS collection for home builders, which outlines all the building regulations that you need to work with. And the Simplified Home Building Manual. These books are available to all NHBRC registered home builders, and it is recommended that you use these books as a reference on all building projects. Until next time, goodbye.